Hello, good evening again for the second time. I have a question that I've been asked a few times. I've been asked again recently. I'm going to try to speak about it. I get asked quite often what it's like to be adopted. What's it been like being adopted? Um, so um, it's it's bits of it are really a double-edged sword, you know. I'm a quite a kind of thoughtful, I'm a thinker. And one of the things that I've always said about being adopted is that I'm eternally grateful to my now long departed adopted parents for what they did. Uh, I just look at it really kind of straightforward. They perhaps saved me from a young life of being in care homes and fostered and all the rest of it. So I guess with them, at least I was lucky enough to have the stability. Shit. I say stability, my family was not exactly made on good foundations in certain ways. But it was at least my family, and like I say, I appreciate it. I still appreciate it. On the flip side, what I really never appreciated was the really. Look, I'm allowed to criticise my adopted parents, so and I do have one or two criticisms. The way that I was told about being adopted was just horrific, really. I try to think of a less sensitive, less clumsy way of giving me the news, but it's hard to think of one. My mum, she picked me up from junior school one day. We were driving to Egham, just around the corner from Virginia Water, where I was at school. I have no idea how the subject even came up. It wasn't, I don't think it was instigated by me, although it's possible, because I've just remembered, actually, there was a kid at my school. His name was Jai Paul. His parents were from India, and I think he might have mentioned it to me somehow. I'm not sure. Anyway, so I'm in the back of the car. My mum just said in a very matter-of-fact way, "Yeah, I'm not actually your real mum. Your real mum didn't want you, and me and your dad, we took you in." I was about 6 or maybe 7 when this happened, and 45 years later, I still remember it very clearly, and I look back and I think about how many times that moment has come into my head during the life that I've had since that moment. So yeah, I think if my mum was still here, I would I have that conversation? Maybe. maybe not. My parents and I, my sister and I, my adopted sister, um, we never spoke. I never had a conversation with any of them that was as kind of open and cards on the table as even this is now with you. So I'm not sure whether I would have ever said anything, but I certainly felt a lot about it. And then moving on in life, oh yeah, another sort of downside, when some of the boys at my boarding school, my prep school, discovered that I was adopted, I used to get called orphan quite a lot, and used to get in a few little scraps about stuff like that. Because not also I'm pedantic as well. I'm not an orphan. I was adopted. I had parents. They just decided for whatever reasons that I needed to vacate their lives. Oh, stop it. I'm playing with these little magnets and they're kind of slippery. Sorry about that. So yeah, moving on in life, when I left school, being adopted didn't really affect me too much, but I started to really, I didn't get on with my dad at all. I was thrown out of the home when I was, I think, 17 possibly. Made my own way in life. My parents never told me they loved me, not once in the life I had before they both left. I don't hold any grudges about that. I've looked at my adopted parents' lives, young lives themselves, and both of them lost their dads at a very young age through divorce and separation. Maybe they were never told they were loved either, so I can't hold it against them. But of course, as you get older, when you look back on stuff like that, yeah, you realise that something big was missing, and you wonder how it's affected you moving forwards. And I'm certain that one of the things that the biggest effect on me with adoption has been my ability to have a normal relationship. I do have relationships. I can't really remember one that hasn't been in some way blemished, ruined even by the fact that my ability to love, to be in love, is just not there. It's something that other people do. So that makes things difficult and has made things difficult. And I also have had it pointed out to me lots of times actually, that I have this habit of pushing people away. And I guess that's kind of a symptom of my lifelong desire to not let people get close to me. I guess if you let people get close to you, then the more chance of you being hurt by them. So everybody at arm's length, everybody at all times. And I guess, of course, there has to be knock-on effects for me and for the other person in that. And yeah, I wish it was different, but unfortunately it isn't. And some people have said to me, you know, well, you just got to let it happen. And yeah, I wish life was that fucking simple. Today, this is how adoption affects me. I think I may have a tendency to blame everything that's ever happened to me on being adopted. No one can definitively say whether that's true or not. Excuse me. But it's what I think. So in my head, it's true. Is that right? Yeah. That's how the mind works. So it's such a mix-up because obviously, like I've said, I'm really grateful to my parents, my late parents, for what they did. On the other hand, I think it was unfortunate that they weren't very good at being parents in lots of ways. They tried, I guess. And of course, who am I to judge parenting when I've spent most of my kids' lives locked away from them? So, and I have a son who I can't see anymore because his mum doesn't like me. A daughter who I am very close to, but you know, I'm very aware that I've screwed with her life quite a lot since she was 6, and yeah, so you know, I think at least I am aware of it all. When I found out about my natural parents, that was done for health reasons, and I paid quite a lot of money to take a shortcut to what I wanted to know. And bizarrely, I guess you could say, is how I've kind of embraced it. Finding out that my father, my real father, was a Kiwi from New Zealand. Yeah, it's made me kind of I've sort of made myself a kind of proud adopted Kiwi, I suppose. I can never go there. I'm banned. But I have family there. I have adopted family there as well, bizarrely. So I guess I feel a certain gravitational pull towards just being a Kiwi. And I think that also kind of demonstrates this kind of overwhelming, and it's been the kind of theme of my life, is that to try and have some sense of belonging. I've never belonged anywhere. I guess I've belonged in prison, which is a fucking horrible thing to have to kind of live with, I suppose. Yeah, so maybe I'm probably talking a lot of gobbledygook now. I've kind of lost the track of what I'm trying to say, but yeah, so the question, what's it like being adopted? It's a fucking mess, and yet I'm very grateful that it happened to me, but it is a fucking absolute mess. And I don't know how much my head would be messed up anyway, because yeah, I'm a little bit all over the place in life, and my head, yeah, is it's a bit scrambled at times. I live with it though. Before I did this video, I went through a lot of comments on TikTok, and yeah, it's amazing. I get a lot from that. It's hard to kind of explain it fully, but yeah, there are some really supportive people, and I'm not used to that actually. So I guess to an extent I'm like a kid in a sweet shop with it all right now. I'm ignoring the negative stuff, and that's fine, to be honest. I've had the worst fucking weekend since I got out of prison, so a few wankers calling me this and that on TikTok or YouTube or whatever else, yeah, that's kind of lost in the actual bigger picture at the moment. So so that's a little bonus of not having a great time. Blah blah. I'm going on and on, boring the fuck out of everyone. Sorry about that. I'll be back. Have a great evening.